World Voice Day is coming up, and to be honest with you, it's something I had never really heard about before. I don't think that it gets a whole lot of attention, but we have some folks here to talk about it and to talk about why it's important. And I'm not going to scare anybody, but why, if you have that persistent hoarseness in your throat, you should go and have it checked out, because you don't know what it might be a symptom of. Mr. Frank Carrol here, thank you very much. Virgil Gibson here. Vinal, thank you for coming down from Maine to be with us as well. Virgil, before I have Frank kind of give us a little bit of an overview of World Voice Day, I wanted to start with you, because I've got to tell you, just even talking about this subject for me, and I'm guessing for you as well, we make our living with our voice. I mean, all of a sudden that goes, and I mean, I have this job because I can't do anything else, so I would be in deep trouble. I'm just, you know, is that part of the reason that you kind of wanted to lend your voice to this?
I wanted to do that. You know, Frank Carrol is a very good person, and I wanted to support that period because, you know, people think sometimes because you have a little, you know, slight complications, I call them, that you can't do other things that other people do, and that's not true. I do music, and I know that this music here, what I can, you know, we're going to help with as far as other people that has a voice problem, it should give them some type of motivation to know just because you have a complication means you cannot participate in that which other people do. And you can't beat music under no circumstances, because that's the greatest therapy that it is. And basically, even doing what we're doing here, you learn how to use your voice a little bit better because you didn't know. You know, it gives you that motivation. Oh, well, that's me. I can do that. Yes, and how many youngsters are going to be able to do it too? So I want to give my full support on that. I make my living with my voice. You know and that makes all the difference and kind of make me check out. I just don't check things. I just never had the problems that most people have with singing, because I can get up in the morning, late at night. Don't make no difference and do what I do. But that's God has given me that. So. I listened. I think we was just when I was here before. It came up, and then we were down in California. Me and Frank and his brother, and I said, you know, because I've been thinking about, and when I got thinking about, you know, there's a song that I know they can do. When I was with the Rivingtons, and we did a song called Papa Mau Mau, that'll get you started. And then it's amazing to hear things being done that way, and then hear some notes here with nothing on. I said, wait a minute. I thought you had complications. No, the complications is if you let them be that.
Right.
If you get on up, and the music itself will put you in the type of mood, understand me, you forget about you're supposed to have a problem.
What a powerful message. And you're absolutely right about that. And I want to let everybody know that at the very end of the program, this music that you made with your two great backup singers that you were going to tour the world with here, Frank and Vinal, we're going to hear that. We're going to hear Papa Mau Mau, a song that gets everybody up and moving and grooving. But, you know, Frank, I think that what Virgil was just talking about is so true. When I've now had a chance to meet both you and Vinal as well, who I was able to meet today, there was this indomitable spirit. You guys had something happen to you that for most of us is unimaginable. And yet, you just keep on going, and you have this great joy of life, and here you are, you know, going out and talking about it to help some other folks. You know, we're talking about losing your voice, but this would be a pretty tough interview if now you were not going to speak. You can be understood just fine. You haven't let it get you down at all.
Well, thank you very much, Hank, and we certainly thank you for allowing us to bring the message of World Voice Day on April 16th, 2014, coming up to the public. Most of us, I know that Vinal and I, the first time we met each other was today. We sang together today, by the way. I don't know that we'll make Broadway, but we did sing. And but we share an awful lot in common. We've gone through the same situation. Doctors, hoarse voices, not knowing what's going on, and next thing you know, you find out that you have cancer of the voice box. And that kind of says, what? Someone like me that's had a lot of heart problems, I was supposed to die of a heart attack, not cancer. So I was really, really upset because I didn't want that, as nobody would want it. And then we overcame that. And we went to Mass Eye and Ear, Vinal did and I, different times, we didn't know each other. And now Vinal has a speaking valve and I have a speaking valve. And it's important for us to get the message across. Just because you have a disability does not mean you give up life.
Right.
In your case, you use your voice for your business. In Vinal's case, now I find out that, like me, Vinal is a small businessman, and Vinal uses his voice in business. I use my voice in business. Virgil, and you in the audience use your voice every day. How many people realize how powerful your voice is, and probably you won't know it unless you lost it. And I hope to God you don't. But there are ways to be preventing any possible possibilities of voice problems. You should take care of your voice. If you have a hoarseness, as you said, Hank, or any problem with your voice, I would say call Mass Eye and Ear right away and yeah, Dr. Franco.
Right.
7 cases last year in 2013. People from all over the country, I talked to 7 of them anyway.
Yeah.
Each had a voice problem and didn't know it. Of the 7, 6 had cancer with a voice box, and 1 had another problem that didn't take care of it.
And now you just said that they didn't know it. Let me
They
ask
didn't
you,
know
and then I'll ask Vinal as well. What were your symptoms? I mean, because is it you just don't? So this is not what you would think of. So you just don't automatically think you have cancer of the voice box.
I would like you to talk to Vinal because, ironically, we share the same story.
Really?
In my case, I had a hoarse voice. I don't know if you can understand the word hoarse, but you do have some problems speaking, though, but you overcome them by laughing at it. But these people had sort of a scratchy voice. But you have to be careful talking to a stranger because you have no right going up saying, do you have a problem? You got a problem with your voice?
Right.
So you engage in a conversation. And then they come out, of course, someone like me and Vinal, they see they have an automatic voice valve. So they ask you about that. That allows you then they open the door for you to talk about it.
Sure.
In every case, either a hoarse throat or the doctor complained to me about, I went to my doctor, and he just doesn't say there's anything wrong with me. And Vinal can tell you his story just like mine.
Yeah.
And I say to them, here's a card, Dr. Ramon Franco. I'm not trying to plug anyone here, but I'm just giving you an example. There are not that many physicians, and the public should know that, who are specialists in a voice box. It's only about this big.
Right. Right.
And luckily for us, we live in Worcester, and Boston's 1 hour away. Other people like.
Well, and again, I mean, to be honest, I mean, it's just I didn't even realize, Vinal, that I mean that this was sort of a problem. I mean, until really until I know you obviously, Frank. I mean, that was really the first that I was made aware of it. What were I mean, a hoarse voice. People get a hoarse voice all the time. I mean, why?
First of all, neither one of us were smokers. And so if you don't smoke, don't think this can't happen to you. Generally, it happens to smokers. What happened to me, same to him, I got a hoarse voice. I went to a physician, told me I had acid reflux. It didn't go away. Went to another physician. He said, you got cancer. Long story short, after 2 years of radiation, it didn't work. I had to go to Mass General and have my voice box out. But they're great there. I'd like to really tell people who are going through this right now today, don't think that things are going to be different. The only thing I don't do now is I don't dive into my pool and I can't yell for the golf course. Other than that, and the caregivers at Mass Ear and Eye, they're great. The doctors are great. The therapists, speech therapists, they're great. So if you have the opportunity to go there, if you have this problem, I highly recommend that.
Vinal, when we come back, I want to talk a little bit more about that. And I want to talk a little bit more because I know that both of you, this is a little different, the actual device that you have. And I want to talk a little bit about that straight ahead on the Hank Stoltz Experience.
No matter what they tell you, you never realize it until you get out of surgery. You can't talk. That's the biggest problem. The second problem is learning how to use an implanted device after the operation. Now, in my case, like Vinal, I got very religious when it comes to this, and I placed my faith in God and the doctors.
Yeah, man.
And I say the doctors and were guided by God, and I believe my faith in God has helped me through the ability to not to get discouraged. Another thing too, in my case, and I noticed Vinal too, we have an awful lot in common. I'm a very busy guy, so this was only an inconvenience for me. And I made sure I was kept so busy, I didn't have time to worry about it.
Yeah.
It just came natural.
That's fantastic. Virgil, I want to talk a little bit about, because we've just got a couple minutes left and we want to go out with the song, so with 1 minute I want you to kind of set this up. But you heard some real beauty in this, and you heard that they could make music.
I knew it. We had run across this about when I was here a year and a half ago, and then recently in December we hooked up again. Frank came down, you know, and it came up again because I could see doing stuff like this as far as helping the military that came. They got different problems, and I went far and said, I tell Frank, I said, look, if a man got one arm, well, why don't we just take it and put an instrument in the other arm or what have you, and vice versa. One can play this and one can play that. I was figuring out a way that people in the military could use whatever they got as far as a curing thing. Music is that. And oddly enough, I go to the computer like I do. I got up early in the morning and said, go to the computer. If we got people on the computer that can play with nothing but a knuckle and play it right, soldiers don't quit. This is soldiers, they don't quit.
Absolutely.
So all we do now is put this thing in right here. He just heard him say, he don't know how to quit.
Then we're ready to go.
Let's
We're going to hear it. And this was put together by Virgil Gibson, and you'll hear Frank and you'll hear Vinal in the background. Let's play that right now.
This is just one of some to come.
Some to come. All right.
Papa, oh, mau, mau.
Oh, mau, mau, Papa, oh, mau, mau. Papa, oh, mau, mau, Papa, oh, mau, mau. Papa, oh, mau, mau, Papa, oh, mau, mau. Papa, oh, mau, mau, Papa, oh, mau, mau. Funniest sound I ever heard. Papa, oh, mau, mau, Papa, oh, mau, mau. And I can't understand not a single word. Papa, oh, mau, mau, Papa, oh, mau, mau. If he's serious or if he's playing, ooh, mau, mau is all he's saying. Papa, ooh, mau, mau, Papa, oh, mau, mau. Papa, ooh, mau, Papa, oh, mau, mau. Papa, oh, mau, mau, Papa, oh, mau, mau. Papa, oh, mau, mau, Papa, oh, mau, mau. I said, hey there, Papa, what's your name? Papa, oh, mau, mau, Papa, oh, mau, mau. Don't you dare tell me the same old thing. Papa, oh, mau, mau, Papa, oh, mau, mau. The words you're saying I can't figure out. Woo, that sound make me jump and shout. Papa, oh, mau, mau, Papa, oh, mau, mau. 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 Oh, mau, mau, Papa, oh, mau, mau. Papa, oh, mau, mau, Papa, oh, mau, mau.
Papa, oh, mau, mau. How you like that for someone without voices?